Hello, everybody. Welcome to the D-Pad Patreon Hangout for January 2026. Our first one for 2026. I feel like I say this every year now, some more than others, but 2026 is one of those year numbers that definitely sounds future. Not like, oh, it's not here yet, but just like that's a cartoon number. That's like a Demolition Man setting or something. But Happy New Year. Hope everybody's doing okay so far. Oh God, the mic is being stiff and weird. Hope everybody did okay with Winter Storm Fern and some of the aftermath of that. Yeah, I'm gonna see how this goes. I realized that the camera was in like 24 frames a second, which is probably preferable for something like this specifically, but when we're doing streams with gameplay, it does feel a little bit like, oh, well, why not match the gameplay, frame rate or something. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. If it seems weird to you guys, let me know. There's a reason why movies generally aren't done in 60 frames a second, because it has like an uncanny weird quality to it. But this has been an option for like years, and I only just realized that I haven't been using that properly. I think I need to tweak some settings, though, because it's entirely possible that the computer is using up a lot of memory taking in that video, at least at that resolution, also the frame rate. Also, my hair. What the fuck is happening here? My hair is starting to get a little on the longer side. Ooh. So, for one, the little wings thing, this is already a problem, but you can actually kind of start picking out the grays here in the shot, because I've never had blonde hair, so those light ones are starting to look a little gray. But yeah, welcome to the Thunderdome. It's been an interesting month. It's been an interesting month so far. I say as if there's more than 29 hours left in it. It's great to start getting content out again, like beyond the like special event stuff. For a while there, at the end of the year, it was all special events. We had Spooky Ween, we had the grand finale, we had Saturn Return, we had oh my God, what was the other one? The Extra Life marathon stream, Cursed Casino. So like we've had shitloads of special event things. Something like 60 games across all of those. Maybe 70. So it's been real busy, but we're finally starting to swing back around to our regular content and some new stuff in there too. Like we have Virtual Hide Glide being our finale full play, I guess you could say, from Saturn Return. We have more episodes of it. This week wound up being a little bit busy. I'm kind of settling in more with work as well, which is nice. But that does mean a little more focus, and it also means I don't have quite as much time, like during the day, obviously, to be spending doing D-pad stuff. I'm coming down from being sick the past week. I think what happened was I got a cold Wednesday into Thursday, and so I was pretty sick on Thursday, but then I was feeling fine on Friday and Saturday, but then Sunday I felt worse than I did on Thursday, and it's been a slow return from there. So I think what happened was I got a cold, and then, as sometimes is the case, I think I got a sinus infection that's had my ass since Sunday. Yesterday was the point where it felt like it finally broke a little bit. I felt, I guess I'm trying to remember which things were on which days. Well, I had like Mario Party stuff, and we had Metroid Prime on Wednesday, Metroid Prime 2 rather, which we're done with. We finished Metroid Prime 2. I have seen the light and dark beams, by which I mean I now fully understand why people are like, Metroid Prime 2 is like a huge pain in the ass with backtracking. It's not, so I think It's funny because it's not like Prime 1 didn't have backtracking. I think one of the things that helped Prime 1 avoid similar pitfalls to what Prime 2 wound up with, Prime 2, you have your temple grounds and the temple, which you can get to from 3 points that are all like kind of wherever, but you have your temple grounds, and then you have the 3 like zones, and each of those 3 zones has exactly 3 exits for most of the game. 1 to the temple grounds, 1 to and 2 that go to each of the other zones. And then near the end of the game, like right when you actually have the ability to start getting to the end, you gain a separate entry point to the Grand Temple specifically. And it just like, whereas in Prime 1, there were 2 separate ways to get from Magmore Caverns to Fendrana Drifts. There were like 5 or 6 exits from the surface of Talon 4. Like, there were tons of ways to get around quickly if you checked your map and knew how to navigate around. Whereas this one, it's a lot stiffer. And, like, to an extent, I would understand if they were like, oh, but we want to make sure that you can only get to the Dark World in really deliberate patterns. That kind of stops being an issue so much after a while. World being more symmetrical somehow made it more frustrating then. Yeah, I mean, that... I don't know that I minded that aspect of it, because I think about other games that have similar structures to that. Like, some obvious ones would be like A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds is a like dual world structured kind of thing, and in that one I don't mind it at all. I think the more frustrating points in I'm trying to remember if in A Link Between Worlds you're ever able to freely navigate between the 2 worlds, or if you always need the crack in the walls. In A Link Between Worlds, you do eventually get the mirror, I think, which does bring you back. I think it's the mirror that brings you back, not the Moon Pearl. Yeah, Moon Pearl is what lets you keep your Hylian form, and then the mirror is what brings you back. I think, unless I got that backwards. But you have an item that eventually means you can always just go back from the Dark World to the Light World. But yeah, okay, you do always need the cracks. Yeah, it's tricky when it's like, it makes more sense to me in a Link to the Past type format and most of A Link Between Worlds, where the whole world is still connected. Like, the whole of the Dark World in both of those games is still connected. Usually the crack in the walls winds up coming into play more if you have, like, really specific platforming, wall crawling, I guess, wall sliding challenges and things. That, too, you have a lot of fast travel options. You have 8 in both games, I think. And so there might actually be more, come to think of it. I want to say in the Game Boy Advance version of A Link to the Past, you actually get a few extra ones, too. Metroid doesn't really have fast travel most of the time. Right. So that's the thing. And, like, in some games, it's less of a problem than others. Most of the 2D games, you can navigate fast enough that it doesn't take a crazy amount of effort to get from one end of the map to the other if you need to travel quickly. It's more of a problem in the 3D games because you move much more deliberately and slowly. You have a much smaller frame of reference most of the time because you have your cone of vision in front of you. So you have in real life, most people have nearly 180 degrees technically of vision, with varying degrees at the far sides of like how well you can actually perceive something that's like 90 degrees to your side. Like I can just barely see my fingers to the right of me right now, but I'm not looking at them. But in video games, FPS style stuff, usually it's more like 90 degrees. You have a way smaller frame of reference just from that. And you're kind of moving at sort of a like leisurely jog type pace without a real means of doing like running. And you've got first person 3D platforming, which is always difficult. So we'll see. We'll see where things go with that. But like Metroid Prime 1, I think was actually a really good balance. I would say on the grand like in the grand scheme of things, 2D to 3D transition, I would say Metroid Prime 1 is pretty damn good. It's not perfect. I would say Mario and Sonic both did a better job transitioning to 3D. I was trying to think, like, how would I gauge Kirby on this? Because Kirby rarely does 3D, like proper 3D. Kirby 64 is not 3D. It's 2.5D, like Yoshi's Story. So what would I do then? Kirby's, what was it, Blast Ball? What the hell is the one that's... It's one that its levels are more or less designed off of Kirby's Dream Land. And yeah, Forgotten Land is I guess the first one that is like truly 3D, and it's like 30 years late to that party, so it's kind of hard to like gauge it as a 2D 3D transition. I would say Metroid Prime does it better than Donkey Kong as a transition to 3D. I think Donkey Kong 64 was a little klutzy, especially after Banjo-Kazooie, I think did it better. Excuse me. But yeah, no, I think Metroid Prime 1 was... Oh, sorry, Blow Up Blast. Yeah. I knew Blast was in the name. I couldn't remember the full name of it. But yeah, I'd say that that Metroid Prime 1 did a pretty decent job transitioning to 3D. And then I think they got a little too in their heads after that of ways to mix up the formula. The trick being they had only done one so far. It's a Metroid thing we'll get to soon enough. Oh, yeah. I think they got too in their heads about ways to mix up the formula when they only had one game in that formula at the time. Like, the light and dark beams definitely are pretty evidently the plasma and ice beams from the last game. In like not every way, but like they're functionally pretty much that. I think that limited ammo for those was a big pain in the ass. I don't know that it ever fully screwed us over. Like, I don't think there was ever a point where we were completely in the water on that, but there were many times where I had to change my tactics because I was worried about running out. Missiles and power bombs. I mean, missiles, that's always the way that is, so I don't have any gripes with that. Power bombs, starting with 2 feels insane. Starting with just 2 is ridiculous. 3 is like a little more reasonable. 2 is crazy. Fortunately, it does seem like the drop rate for power bombs is unexpectedly high, like much higher than you would imagine them to be. There might be some slight favoritism in there, like that might be. Maybe they have like a table of things with various odds, and like maybe the power bombs are like just under health or something. I don't know. Maybe under missiles too. But yeah, for those, not a huge deal. E-tanks, we got a bunch of them just by chance. We got probably like almost 2/3 of them just by looking around and being thorough. So I don't have much of a complaint there. The visors were a little bit wacky this time. So you got your standard ones. You got your normal visor, your scan visor. Those are fine. You have your dark visor, which I get what they were going for with this, but I feel like having things that are full-blown invisible, unless you happen to look with the right visor, is like, eh. And I get that they're trying to do a thing where it's like, oh, you should kind of feel like, oh, something's missing here. I'll use the dark visor. Or maybe there's something you scan and it says, oh, there's something in a different dimension or a different, space or whatever. And it just like with the X-ray visor. Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that is true. I just didn't like how it felt in this game. Ironically, the best use of the dark visor was to see stuff in dark rooms. because it was very X-ray visor in that regard. It was almost like night vision at times, where it was like, oh, I can see much clearer underwater with the dark visor and stuff like that. So that one was like, okay. Uh, I like the idea of the sonic visor. Was it? Oh, echo visor. Echo visor. I like the idea of it. It came into the game like way too late, in my opinion. I think they could have done with swapping where you got the echo visor and the dark visor in order to make a little more use out of it, because like the dark visor was generally strategic in like really particular spots. The echo visor was like puzzles and tricky ways out of rooms and interacting with stuff, and I think they could have done a lot more with it. But because it came in so late, it was awkward trying to fit it in and shoehorn it in at the last second into areas. I think they should have swapped them. The other one being like, I get also that it is essentially sonar, and so you're only seeing things based on movement because of vibrations or sound that is actually being made. But it does mean that everything is like so goddamn dark. And in addition, I did not like a handful of those bosses, especially the last two of the game. I was not a fan of Emperor Ing. I was not a fan of Emperor Ing just because it was like annoying as a boss. It wasn't like this is inherently bad design. I think the tentacles were like a giant pain in the ass, but Dark Samus 3/4, that was a mess in my opinion. I think it's so silly that the game is like, hey, you can absorb her shots and fire them back at her. And then in the background, they're like, watch these idiots keep their targeting on Dark Samus. They won't be able to do anything then. And it's like, why? Why is that how that works? I don't like that. But it is over. It is done. How you handle those bosses, man, there's some salt. Not fully. I mean, yeah, I was getting frustrated. Partly because it was already like 1:32 in the morning at that point. I was not expecting it to take quite so long to deal with those. And also making it a timed thing. So it also incentivizes you to just like kind of panic and rush and stuff. And it was just like, I just want out. I just want to be done with this. But so I'm glad it is over. Although we seem to be continuing into, I guess Dark Samus is returning again. Also, Dark Samus is, I guess, the particular remnants of Metroid Prime as well. So that's its own situation there too. Metroid Prime Pinball was a poll option for community night for this month. This is also going to be our last normal community night until the end of April, because in February we're going to be celebrating Pokemon Day by bringing back Pokemon the very best, and we're actually going to continue with it this time. And in March, the March Patreon Hangout is going to be the precursor to the 15th anniversary marathon stream on April 3rd, the first Friday of that month. So we'll be back to our community nights at the end of April. I guess possibly May 1st, either May 1st or April 24th. I don't know which yet. May depend on, actually. No, it'll have to be on May 1st because the last week of April is PAX East, I believe. Although, some sad news related to that. U-Game did not make it in. Oh, sorry, no. PAX East is end of March, not end of April. End of April, I think I might have a work trip. I'll have to double check on that. But yeah, so we didn't get into PAX East as a panel this year. I submitted U-Game, didn't get in. I was also part of another person's submission for a panel that I thought was a really cool idea. I don't want to spoil the details of it in case we are able to get into it in the future, but it was a really cool panel focused on the broader subject of open world games and just grand scale games as well. But neither of those got in, so I am not going to be a panelist unless something random comes up. I already did buy my pass for PAX East, so I'm all good on that front. And a number of Mario Party Madness folks are actually going to be in town for PAX East, so I'm going to be joining them for a whole bunch of Mario Party and assorted other games that we normally wouldn't be able to do. For example, Mario Party 10, which I don't think has ever been done on Mario Party Madness because it contains motion control mini games that are not possible to emulate properly right now, since that's on the Wii U. The game gives you a fork to the left or to the right. That is open world. Not to, I mean, yeah, no. We're talking, obviously, like we're talking like Breath of the Wild type games, right? And perhaps larger sandbox types too. But yeah, so there should be some interesting stuff going on there. I'm planning to be at PAX East for the whole weekend. Excuse me. Fork needs more prong. Yeah, you just need like 6 or 7 more prongs in there, and it's all good to go. Some more tines. Yeah, so that's where PAX East is at. So yeah, I don't know which Friday at or near the end of April is going to be our next community night. But it'll be one of those. I'll figure it out before we get to the March one. Or before we get to the anniversary stream anyway. Speaking of which, anniversary stream. We're working out some basic details right now. I think we're going to make the big announcement for it in early March because we're trying to pull some rather large strings together for it. And I want to be able to hype people up way ahead of time. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. And we're going to have a few like announcy things to go along with that as well. I've got one thing in particular that I'm trying to figure out the exact material that I'll have ready in time for that. But there's one thing in particular that is going to be very interesting as a long-term project. I'm curious what people are going to think about it. It's going to be a little bit intense to start with, and it's going to smooth out as it goes, but it's something that I've been kind of wanting to do for like 2 or 3 years now, and we now have everything we need to make it happen, so I'm psyched to put that out there. So we'll see how all of that goes. So this one's interesting. I don't want to say too much because it'll give away the game, but it is not a gameplay related project. It is not a review related project either. And in fact, once it gets started, literally once it launches, it's going to have almost no further like real work needed from me other than keeping people's eyes on it. So it'll be an interesting thing to see shake out. It will take a long time to get from start to finish, which is why I call it a long-term project, but it's really not going to involve it's going to involve like no active real stuff out of me. It'll be something where we check in once in a while. Every couple weeks, I think, we'll be checking in. But we'll see. Relatedly to the Twitch Plays Pokemon idea, I have had a desire for a while, and I don't know when I would be able to do this. I actually wanted to try to figure it out in time for Pokemon Day, for this year's Pokemon Day, years ago, but I want super badly to build a variation on that rather than doing a Twitch chat thing, it is just fully random button inputs. Something that on every frame inputs a different button at random and just let it loose and see what happens. One button at a time, which I believe is enough to prevent the game from being like force reset or anything, or the game being erased. But it's just a fascinating idea. And there's a few spots in there where it seems like, okay, the game will never advance beyond this thing, which is like there's the one tile ledge on Route 9, I think, as well as stuff like properly getting into buildings, fighting gym leaders. It could literally, it's a thing that like I'm curious about from a mathematical standpoint. And I'd be very curious to see how far it could get before it just starts spinning, you know? Pi plays Pokemon. Oh, I assume the idea is that every digit corresponds to, what would that be? Up, down, left, right, start, select, A, B, and then I guess 2 of the digits do nothing. It goes through it that way. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I'm curious about that one. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. I think it comes out in April. Maybe, possibly. I never got to play the first one. And I would be very interested in checking it out. But I might be down for it. We will see. I think I will at least do something with it. Maybe I'll have like a first episode. I'll invite people to submit stuff, and then we'll kind of mess around with it from there. I don't know. We will see. The thing that I wanted to play around with the most was the text-to-speech thing that was built in there. Every LPable daily check-ins are recommended. Yeah, which is, I mean, like, easy enough to spend like a couple minutes on and maybe make a video at the end of the week, you know? Excuse me. But yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. We will see. As for other stuff that's going on, like I mentioned, we have content that is like back alive again. Donkey Kong Bonanza is back. We are almost done with the videos we recorded for that like 4 months ago or further. Actually, let me see. I think I have, let me see if I can find, yeah, the game came out in the, oh boy. So yeah, we have up through, almost certainly up through part 29. Parts 27 to 29 were recorded on August 2nd. So we're almost finally out of episodes we recorded 5 months ago, 6 months ago, half a year ago. So either this weekend or next, we're finally going to be recording some more, which is good. But are there any plans to cover Air Riders? Oh yes, we've already recorded some. It hasn't come out yet, but we have started recording Air Riders. I'm gonna see if I can get an intro put together this weekend, because we have both that and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds ready to go with at least some episodes apiece. I need to figure out what I'm doing for those. It's also tricky because we have still thousands of cubic feet of snow to move, so it's going to be a little dependent on that as well. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can put something together for those and get that reflex back. It's been a long, long time since I've actively done some good intros, so I'll be excited to get those going. Relatedly to both of those, I am hoping to spend some time this weekend recording what's left of Mario Kart World. There shouldn't be all that much left of that. Probably a few weeks worth of episodes. And I am hoping Saturday or Sunday to spend some time getting at least like, I don't know, another week or two of those done. Not because I'm like in a rush to be over with it, but we have a lot of games that are technically mid play right now, and it'd be good to clear some more of those out. Impressions I can spoil about Kirby Air Riders. It doesn't give me motion sickness, which is a step up from Kirby Air Ride. I think one of the problems that I had with the original Kirby Air Ride was that by being on the GameCube, and I don't remember if Kirby Air Ride had a progressive scan mode built in or not. But something about just the fidelity of the image and the frame rate and stuff just kind of wound up giving me a headache a lot of the time. It really, like, literally there was a stream that I left for the Nightmare streams. There was one that I ended after like an hour because I was actively like getting sick. Like it was making me nauseous. So far, we have only dipped into road trip mode, so I don't have a comparison to the older. I don't have any comparisons between the original modes and the remakes of those modes, essentially. Road trip mode has been interesting. It's basically, it honestly is like, what if Smash Brothers Classic mode, was built up of Air Ride stages, right? So a bit of classic mode, a bit of Smash Run, a bit of City Trial by virtue of just like the way that your stats work. And in particular, it feels like the classic modes out of the two Smash Brothers 4 games, I would say. Every challenge appears to be handcrafted. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice bit to it. It feels it doesn't feel super robotic or anything. 3 videos recorded one day into 5 seasons. Oh, nice. So like what would that be? 73 episodes essentially of thing. That'll be a fun time. But yeah, so that's my early thoughts on Kirby Air Riders. I will need to play more to have any like deeper thoughts on that. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Once we get started, that's going to be in and out pretty fast. Let me put it this way: if I can get that started in the next week or two, we will be done with it before the anniversary stream. I can basically tell you that Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is almost certainly going to have exactly 24 or 25 episodes. Like, that's where we're at there. I guess it may have 26, but 25 plus or minus 1 is what we're going to wind up with for that. There is not a lot of meat on that bone, thanks to it being almost completely focused on the online multiplayer, which does not really interest me for racers in particular. I don't know what we're going to focus on for unlocks. Normally, I would spend a bit more time trying to unlock more stuff, but like offline, there's just so little variety that we would literally just be doing the same things over and over again. And I don't really want to do that. So we're not gonna. I'm sure that I will wind up doing some multiplayer online content for that with like the Mario Party folks, just because a bunch of them do like Cross Worlds, and like I'm down for doing random one-off stuff along those lines, but I'm not planning to make a big show of doing online mode for the Let's Play. Age of Imprisonment, it is on our radar. I'm on the fence how we're going to handle that. So Echoes of Wisdom, I'm planning on I'm recording more of this weekend as well, because I want to keep that moving. Either Age of Imprisonment is going to be what we play on weekdays after Echoes of Wisdom, or it is going to get recorded soon/nowish and we're going to start putting those up as weekend episodes, a la the days of old, the way that we were doing the legendary Let's Play 12 years ago. I haven't decided yet. The reason that I'm thinking about weekend episodes is just because if we do it like that, we could probably do, depending on how missions are structured in it. I really don't know yet because I haven't touched it. But if every like mission stage, what have you, is a half hour ish of content, I kind of might rather do that than just split up the missions into 2 or 3 parts all the time. It might make it feel a little more eventy. It makes it a little easier on us on the recording side too, because it means we don't have to like play guessing games where we're like, oh, this episode's been going for 17 minutes, so we should probably cut it, but kind of feels like the mission's gonna be ending pretty shortly. So like, what do we? Oh no, it's been 25 minutes and the mission still has more to do. We should cut it off now, or like something like we don't have to guess with that. But that was easier to gauge with the original Hyrule Warriors than it was with Age of Calamity. So we'll see how Age of Imprisonment feels, but especially given our weekends are going to start getting a little bit interesting in terms of content. So for one, we have one more Star Force episode in the can. We were hoping to get some more recorded, but time wasn't on our side. Jeff is going to be overseas for a hot second in February, literally starting less than 24 hours from now. So we're not going to be able to record any more Star Force for a little bit. And then once he gets back, we'll get back into it. But we do have one more, at least. We also have... I have 2 Hades runs I've been sitting on for like literally a year, maybe even a year and a half, that I do want to actually put online. So we got those. Those I'm probably going to put up as a Saturday, Sunday pair because they're both very long, and I do like to have them as premieres. We are hoping to get back into those soon because we do want to finish our run of the game, right? As well as give Hades 2 a little bit of love on the channel. I don't know if we'll do the same thing with Hades 2 as Hades 1. John and Sarah have both been playing Hades 2. So I will once again be playing catch up, but not by like 5 years. So that'll be nice. We have another thing that we're planning to release that we've already recorded some of that we're planning to release as weekend episodes. I don't want to spoil that. I don't know if they'll be premieres. Probably not. I don't know if they're going to come out this weekend. They might. But so we're going to have those occasionally, and I guess I guess we probably want to do Age of Imprisonment as weekend stuff because we may not have anything else for the weekends for a while. I can't even put like stream VODs in there because I need to now go and do an intro recording with CJ for Doom the Dark Ages, which he is now 15 streams into. He's not done yet, I don't think, anyway. As well as the game that he's planning to do after that. And I think that's going to be kind of our strategy for a while, is we're going to try to record 2 intros at a time. And once we've done those 2, I mean, we'll have a good amount of space until the next one comes around, because generally speaking, each of these games tends to take him months to get through. So at that point, it's a matter of like, get a couple of those ready, and then, the next time either Siege is around or I can get out to Boston, we'll be able to record some more intros there. Sorry, my nose is itchy as hell right now. But yeah, we have those VODs, and like, granted, there's also, I have 4 stream VODs that can go up that are not related to 90 Minute Nails, as well as Majora's Marathon, the Supercut, as well as the Majora's Mask Randomizer Race, which I have a lot of editing work to do on, but we're getting there. The other one is Smash Brawl. We are going to get those VODs going. I just need to actually like record all of Brawl. Yeah. Yes. Yep. It's not all going to go up super rapid fire because I do have my Getting Smashed videos, but I've got a bunch of plans for those. It's really just a matter of picking a night where I have the free ability to actually record what I want to do with those. I also need to figure out if I'm going to keep staging them in our kitchen. The first season of Getting Smashed that went along with Melee was recorded in our recording space because the camera angle we had was really conducive for that. We had a nice background. We could light it interestingly. Now we don't really have that. Like the background behind me here is pretty shallow. And there's a lot that's kind of there. And I don't have a table, especially one that is that tall in this room. So I don't have any, like, I don't have a great way of shooting that. So I need to figure out what's going to happen there. The one that I did with, I'm trying to remember. Oh, the one that was, it was Ness, I think. Oh, what do we call it? It was a something smash, Slugger Smash. The Slugger Smash, we recorded that in our kitchen facing our dining room. And I think it worked out pretty well, but it does require everything to be cleared out of the way. And I need to move my camera and at least 2, if not 3. I now have 3 standing lights up there in order to light it properly. Our Christmas tree, we still have a Christmas tree, so I might have to like slide that out of the way so it's not in the shot. We have there's a lot of like bits and pieces that weren't there previously, because previously it was like, just shoot it and the background is the background. So for season 2 for Brawl, I'm probably going to do the kitchen. And then by the time season 3 comes around for Smash 4, I may try and like build a solution for us. Something that I can potentially have down here somewhere. Like that would make it ideal if I had it in here and looking nice, you know? So I might build a miniature set for Getting Smashed season 3. I don't quite have the financial leeway for that right now. But I have the holding pattern I'm in here is, if I can pull it back open here. Let's see. Yeah, we recorded. So after the Ness stream, we had 25 more streams. So we have an awful lot of those. So I'm going to be working my way through those as best I can. And now for the part that I'm sure is probably going to have the most, I don't want to say controversial, but like I think it's the one that's going to have the most debate, I suppose, is I'm trying to figure out what my streams in 2026 are going to look like. For the time being, so the reason being, we finished Brawl, and now we've got Metroid, which is every Wednesday, and any Monday that I don't have something else going on as like an event is also going to be Metroid. But when the end of February rolls around, and we won't be done with Metroid by then, we just won't. We have Pokemon the very best, which I intend to actually start properly plowing through in 2026, because I would like to, to get there with that. I would like to complete it before my 40th birthday. In an ideal world, I could get it done before the next Pokemon Day, but the number of hours necessary for that makes that less likely. And, like, granted, all that buys me is an extra month, but depending on how things are going schedule-wise, I can start putting more time into it here and there. But so the problem is, there are other streams that I would like to do in there. So, for example, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D Remake, I would like to do, along with the long-awaited final stream of Dragon Quest 3 HD2D Remake. And we also have the Nightmare streams that follow Smash Brawl to get to. So the plan right now is probably going to be that we're going to continue doing Metroid Prime streams Mondays and Wednesdays. Friday, February 27th, we're going to have a Pokemon the Very Best stream. It's the Rattata percent run. And then starting the following week, one of those days is going to be Pokemon streams. One of those days is going to be Metroid Prime streams. Monday would see, on the one hand, I want to say that Monday would be Pokemon streams because Metroid it started on Wednesday. It'd be nice to keep it on Wednesdays. However, if Monday is the likelier day to get interrupted, and Pokemon, we're looking at hundreds of hours, the less time that is slowed down on that, the better. So I'm in kind of an odd spot with that. On the flip side, once Metroid Prime games are done, which could be as late as the summer, I want to do Dragon Quest, but I think it probably makes more sense to go back into the Nightmare streams. I don't know how long a Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D remake is. I'm actually going to look that up real quick because that will... Because, like, the original Dragon Quest 1 is like, I don't know, less than 2. It looks like it's about the same length, actually. Almost exactly the same length as 3. Like main story, main and extras, and completion on how long to beat, which is not always accurate, looks to be almost exactly the same. Which is fine and all, except we're going to wind up having 20 streams of Dragon Quest 3. So 20 streams of Dragon Quest would be, 5 months. Talking up, this will probably interest you the most, actually. We're talking about what the streams are going to be looking like in 2026. I suppose there are the odd Fridays that I could do streams also, to be fair, but I don't necessarily want every single Friday to be, stuff. We're already 2 Fridays a month are already Patreon night and Digimon night, so they're all going to be in grayscale with CG Cacnea in the corner. Yeah, I'm going to be too exhausted by the end of it. I'm just going to have Cacnea in all of them. Like, hey guys. Or I'll just replace it with Cactus Man. We got Cactus Man now. Big shout out to Simon Anderson. Holy cow. Cactus Man is great. Simon Anderson, aka Snake Pixel, co-founder and the solo artist for D-Pad Studio, no relation. The main artistic force behind Owlboy, behind Savant Ascent, behind was it Vikings on Trampolines, among several others. Submitted and got his Robot Master Cactus Man into the final 20 for Mega Man Dual Overdrive. No, not Simon Anderson, the Australian competitive surfer, surfboard shaper, and writer, though he sounds also pretty illustrious. So, but yeah, so what I was mentioning right before you came in was, so right now Metroid Prime is the only meat on the table for streams, but Friday, February 27th, we're going to have a Pokemon the Very Best stream to kind of re-kick that off and keep it moving. after that, I think one stream a week will be Metroid Prime. One stream a week um, will be Pokemon, the Rattata stream. And the thing that I'm trying to sort out is the meat Pokemon. Is that just because it's alliterative? But no, I think Metroid Prime is very much the actual content, whereas Pokemon is the very best. Anyway, the very best. The very best is our. I lost the word. Starch. It's our starch. Dragon Quest is dessert. Still alliterative. Nice. I would wager, just looking at how long it took us to get through Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2. I would wager we have probably like, I'd say we have, I'm not even thinking about Metroid Prime 4 in there. We probably have another 6 months of Metroid Prime if we did one a week. Dragon Quest 1 was 17 hours. Holy shit. I thought Dragon Quest 1 didn't even add anything really. And Dragon Quest 2 was where all the new stuff got added in, but fucking hell. I mean, that does suggest to me that 20 streams is not an unlikely add things. Okay, all right. Yeah, that does suggest to me that 20 streams is probably a pretty accurate guess on Dragon Quest 1 and 2. So I don't know where we're going to fit that in. We will do it eventually, whether it happens this year, next year, whatever. But also next year I should probably be doing Persona 5. So I don't know. But yeah, the real thing is, how do we keep Pokemon the very best moving, as well as Metroid Prime, which we're probably going to be playing until the summertime, without causing the nightmare streams to be gone for another 6 months, in addition to having no other leeway at all towards, oh yeah, no, I've been thinking about that too, getting our third Mario RPG, getting our third Paper Mario and Luigi duel thing in there would be nice too. So I don't know. There are days that I wish, yeah. Well, the funny part is, like, right now I'm doing a bunch of them, but even then it's more a matter of I just don't have enough nights in the week, and I can't justify doing more streams in the week. The things that are like potential, it's tricky too, because like if I wasn't editing our videos, it would also free up a lot of time, because it'd be like, oh, float all these other streams onto the Madness crew. Yeah, right. Because if I wasn't editing D-pad stuff, I could easily say like, hey, Saturday afternoons or Sunday afternoons, if I'm not recording with people, I could do a stream of like Pokemon and like free up another slot for something else. I can't really justify taking any more weeknights for streams, because I would like to actually spend time like relaxing with Sarah and like, you know, just hanging and stuff and not being attached to this computer. I was going to say, this is one of those times, not that I would ever not want to be able to do the D-pad full time, but it's one of those times I wish that I was able to justifiably do the D-pad full time, because then I could do a bunch of streams. That could be a real easy thing to do. It's like, okay, I've got my Monday and Wednesday streams. Maybe Tuesday and Wednesday during the day I do streams as well, and they're different things also. Or something, you know? But there's only so much time in the day, and I'm the channel's only editor still after 12,000 videos and change. So I still have to get stuff done, you know? And that's even aside from the fact that I got a job, and sometimes that job is going to need me to travel too. It has slowed some stuff down streams wise. which I think I would normally be. Oh, I'm just noticing how dry my lips look right now. Holy cow, they are dry, but like, damn, the lights are not doing me any favors. Um, it's tricky because it does take up a lot of time, but I do have a lot of fun with it. But also, it is undeniably really good on the networking front too. I hate to look at it in terms of like a business perspective like that, but it does help in that regard. I've met more people and had more collaborative interactions even outside of Mario Party in the last 2 years than I have in the 13 years that came before them. There's been a few collaborative opportunities that I straight up would not have without them. Um, like hell, I got to do a Mario Party game with Schaefferlis Productions last year. That would straight up have never happened otherwise. Um, or at the very least, I don't know how the fuck I would have wound up, collabing on anything with him. But there are, I got to do a game with Some Call Me Johnny actually late last year as well. Um, Derek's Deltarune Studios didn't realize you had rated his chat before ending with the crew. That was kind of, oh yeah, I bounced out of there pretty fast because I know nothing about Deltarune. I usually check my following list and just see like, hey, who's streaming right now, and does anyone not call him Johnny? I don't know. Maybe his old professor called him John or Jonathan. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's funny dropping it on folks during those things once in a while. I forget. I think I've done 1 or 2 games with Derek as well, actually, in Mario Party. We've, at the very least, we've had one. I know we had one planned that got canceled. I'm trying to remember, like, we had to push it back for one reason or another. I forget if we've actually had one yet. And I'm not counting 99 turn games, because the first 99 turn game, I mean, Johnny was in there at a different time from when I was in there, so I don't really count that. Same thing goes for this past year, where Claire, aka Proton John, for the time being, was in there for part of the 99 turn game. But I wasn't in there at the same time as her for this year. I wasn't there at the same time as Johnny for I think 10 turns or something, but there are other collaborative opportunities that are in the works right now that I cannot even discuss, that are bigger than I would have expected, even for the Mario Party folks to pull off. 2 in particular that are like fucking crazy to me. That, again, I would be stunned. One of them, for silly reasons, I maybe could have figured out on my own. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. The other one, it's like there's not a chance. It's such a crazy get that, like, I'm psyched for it to happen. It was supposed to. It's something that is big enough that we were planning it last year for this year, and we realized that we need to do more planning for it, so we're planning more of it this year for next year, 2027. Big. As soon as there is even an inkling of an announcement that we can make about it, I will make sure that every single one of you knows, because it is a huge, crazy, awesome thing, and I want everybody to be able to check it out. Also, hello, the Golux. Hello. So Derek is also continuing behind on his. Also, see you soon, Justin. Hope you have a good time. Have you a good rest of the night. Derek is also continually behind on his own stream obligations because he kind of mostly plays requests made by viewers via channel points, and those are hella backlogged. Yeah, I think was it? It wasn't Claire. Maybe it was Derek that I'm thinking of. There was someone that I had raided into recently who was also trying to work through a humongous backlog. It's tough. And hell, half of the streamers I like try to raid into and stuff at this point are like, they have families at this point, you know. I don't even we don't even have a kid, and it's still just tough time wise. Recently playing Claire Obscure, so maybe there's some. Oh, yeah. If he was at the very, very. We raided into someone who was just starting Claire Obscure. I think that no, that was Claire actually. Because I remember that there was a joke about Claire Obscure. Tonka's a kid. She is. It's true. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more time in the day to be able to devote to this stuff, especially the streams, just because in a lot of ways they're easier in terms of being able to just get it and go, and there's not a lot of editing to do usually. But I don't know. Time is its own limit, and I wouldn't even need the D-pad to make as much money as the job that I've got right now, and it never would. I don't think anybody on YouTube. Well, that's not true. I was gonna say I don't think anybody on YouTube or Twitch is making what I'm able to make with my current job, but that is definitely not true. There are folks on YouTube and Twitch who make a disgusting amount of money. Not that I make a disgusting amount of money, to be clear, but the thought that nobody makes that much is kind of silly now that I'm saying it out loud. We have gotten nowhere near that, which is totally fine. That's not a complaint at all. It's more just a matter of if it were ever to be an option, I would need to know that, like, oh yeah, okay. I would need to know that I could cover, like, my half of the mortgage and my half of the groceries and stuff like that, which right now, that what I get between Patreon and YouTube and Twitch annually is roughly what I would need to make monthly in order for that to be a viable option. So it's going to be a while, if ever, before that's even a consideration, or I hit the lottery. If I hit the lottery, then boom, we're done. I'll quit my job. I'll pay off the house and my student loans, and I will gladly stream a hell of a lot more. Because why the fuck not? I'd probably stream during the day and then chill at night. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure stuff out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Dragon Quest becomes the random Fridays and weekends stream or something. Realistically, if I want the very best to actually finish, then I should just use up any of those extra slots doing that, which is the other thing. I'm trying to balance fun and responsibility at the same time, which is nobody's favorite task. I should speed through other stuff because I do have to hop off of here within the next 10-ish minutes so I can go and record this year's Super Bowl video, because time is of the essence. I want to get that done so that I can also come back and do our community night at 10 o'clock, which is going to be Jackbox. We're doing Jackbox Party Pack 11. And Metroid Prime Pinball will be on Wednesday, by the way. I think we're just going to do the whole thing on one night, which is going to rely on me just not being bad at the game, I think. Because there does appear to be a story mode. But it's the story mode of this game seems like it is essentially you've got tasks, but you're just kind of plowing forward. Like, it's not like Sonic Pinball Party. It's more like, I don't know, the free play mode of Sonic Pinball Party, or maybe like Kirby's Pinball Land in terms of those. What have I not talked about? Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm finally getting more videos of those up. We have tons of that recorded. We have at least another 2 weeks of that in the can already. I believe in the game we're up to rank V or W in terms of where we're at recording-wise. So, granted, once you get moving, once you start ranking, it does speed up a bit in terms of that. So, it's not like, oh, well, we've taken 8 episodes to get to our first thing, and now, it's gonna be that for every single rank. It's like, no, nothing like that. Just realizing that I haven't started uploading that because I wanted to let the Donkey Kong one finish. But now it's uploading, so that's good. What else? Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Trying to pin John down. He might be here this weekend. We're trying to figure that out. He might be around on Sunday. And if so, I'm going to see if I can get some Pokemon out of him while he's here. Yeah, if anything, it's hard in some ways not to go breadth first a little too hard once they take the leash off. Because they give you a decent amount of options before your next rank up, and then they give you a shitload of options after that. So there's a lot going on there. Mega Man, the big video, toiling away on that. No news there. Star Force 3, like I said, I've got one video for that. That'll be coming out tomorrow, more than likely. It might come out Sunday, probably tomorrow. And then we're going to be on pause for that until Jeff is back in the U.S. Virtual Highlight, we have a handful more episodes. I'm going to see if Peter's coming this weekend, and we'll record some more of that. If so, no news yet on Kingdom Hearts. We're going to be waiting for Jeff to come back, though I've got some fun stuff I'm planning there. First thing I did when I got off the leash was buy freaking clothes. So did we. I think the girls' outfit for Team MZ is decidedly better looking than the guys' clothes, but we still swap that out. We have got a way better fit going on now. I think that's all I've got right now. I think that's all I got. Yeah. I know Dave is looking forward to starting to stream again soon. CJ and Felice are still rocking their 90-minute nails, Doom the Dark Ages, and Cult of the Lamb, especially with Woolhaven out now. And yeah, for the time being, my Mondays are going to be some combination of Mario Party games and Metroid Prime, Pinball, Hunters, and 3. And then in February, at the end of February, we're going to, I don't know which days are going to be what between Metroid Prime and Pokemon. We'll figure something out. Wednesdays, for the time being, are all Metroid Prime Pinball. Do I even have any Wednesdays that are not that coming up? I literally have no interrupting Wednesday plans on my calendar at all. So expect every Wednesday this coming month to be Metroid Prime, and then March forward, it'll either be Metroid Prime or Pokemon. We'll see. It may also depend, like, if we are into like Federation Force or some. I guess that's maybe asking a bit much. Yeah, we're not gonna be into Federation Force yet. When at the end of February, but like if we are essentially down to the end of 3 in Federation Force, I guess we've also got 4. So yeah, I don't know. We'll figure stuff out. But I'm gonna get out of here. I know this was a bit of a short one, but we got some recording to do for the Super Bowl because we have to do it tonight because Jeff is disappearing tomorrow night. I guess I could have hypothetically figured out if he was going to be available during the day tomorrow, but he's probably going to be way too busy. So I'm going to bounce off of here. We're going to be back at 10 o'clock for some Jackbox, Party Pack 11. Yeah, so see you guys then, and have a good one. We'll be back for our next our next Digimon Hangout, Friday, February 13th, or Digimon Night, Friday, February 13th in the Discord. And our next Patreon Hangout's going to be on Friday, February 27th. That is 4 weeks from tonight, on Pokemon Day. So I'll probably be streaming in the morning and then doing Patreon and then streaming, the Rattata stream, both of those being at night. So cool. Yes, there will be a new link. You mean for Jackbox? I think it has to be. I hadn't really thought about that aspect of it, and I can't leave this running for the time in between because I'm going to need XSplit for local recording. Yeah, it'll be a new link. I'll send a link over. It'll probably, I don't know if it'll be patrons only or if it'll be a public one just for simplicity's sake, but I'll figure something out. But yeah, I have to bounce. I will see you guys in a little bit. Should be around 10. If anything, we might, if we get done early enough, I'm going to take a quick breather before. If, if it seems like it's going to be later, I'll try my best to let you guys know. But I'll see you in a bit. Bye.